Good evening, friends. This is the Formless podcast, episode number 35. I'm Dustin. Tyler is out today. He had a bit of a family thing to deal with, so he'll be back on the next episode and tell you about it. The recent news, let's see, California has had a buttload, that's a technical term, a buttload of rain. You know, some people freak out about this, and California seems to go through a period of no rain, and then a period of so much rain we don't know what to do with. The ground is saturated with water. It's crazy. But it happens. It ebbs and flows. We either have an abundance or none. And that just seems to be the way it is. That's the national news or international news, depending on what program you watch or follow. The Def Reset from Echelon Front, one of Jocko Willnick's companies, is going okay. We're in the third week now, and I have to admit, I haven't been as dedicated to it as I was last year. Last year, I was on that thing like white on rice. This year, little tougher, but I had some curveballs thrown my way, so we'll get into that in a little bit. The other big thing is my oldest son turned 16 on the 19th. Today is the 21st, and we threw a little party for him today, so that's why this is good evening and not good morning. So I was pretty proud of him. It's quite an accomplishment. He's a good kid. The other personal news was Friday the 13th. I got laid off of my job of 16 years. Which was a shock. And you know, I'm not going to talk bad about the people that laid me off. I mean, I could, but that's taking the low road, and I'm not going to do that. They're good people, and they wouldn't deserve to be kicked when they're down. They're hurting too. Instead, I'm going to talk about what I have done. You know, sometimes life throws you challenges and it just doesn't seem fair. And it's okay. You know, I wasn't too surprised. Things had been slowing down at work. Being a small business, you live and die by your customers. And if the phone's not ringing, you're not making any money. I sold dental supplies and anything that basically goes in your mouth, basically anything that goes in your mouth, I sold it. It's been kind of tough. It's been kind of hard. I got laid off on the 13th, and I came home, told my family, and on the 14th, I started on the job hunt. I've applied for, at this point, probably 45 or 50 places. I've had 3 interviews. I've got another one on Monday. And some of you probably been through this before. I experienced this kind of thing when I was a kid, and it was pretty traumatic. My dad worked for a warehouse. He worked there for 17, almost 18 years. And they called a big meeting, and they had never done that before. There was a whole bunch. There were probably like 200 people that worked there. A mandatory meeting. Everyone had to show up. My dad was like on sick leave for that time. He had hurt his back and he was out of work. My youngest brother's 11th or 12th birthday. And they called everyone into this room. My dad said there was a group of guys they had never met. Never seen them before in the almost 20 years that he had been there. The guy walks in and says, "This is the hardest thing I'm going to ever have to say to anybody, but we're shutting down and you'll be out of a job at the end of the week. I'm sorry." And he got up and he left. When my boss came and talked to me, it wasn't anything like that. I'd known this guy, seen him day in and day out for the last 16 years. And came up to me on that Friday. He had tears in his eyes. And he said, I've got to lay you off. And I wasn't shocked. I was a little surprised, but not shocked. I kind of seen it coming, unfortunately. It was like slow motion, like seeing when you watch an action movie and the explosion happens and it's in slow motion. It was kind of like that. But I got a box to pack all my stuff up. After 16 years of being at a place, you accumulate a lot of personal stuff. And it didn't hit me until I'd started taking all the pictures and stuff down that my kids have drawn for me over the years. I'm kind of a pack rat, and I saved all that stuff. Father's Day, birthday cards, and things that they had drawn for me over the years. Little handprints that they had made. That was the hardest part of all of that. Taking it down off my bulletin board and putting it in a box. That was pretty tough. The whole time I flash back to when I was a kid. This mandatory meeting that my dad had to do was on my brother's 12th birthday. So he literally had to leave in the middle of the birthday, find out that he wasn't going to have a job next week, and then come home and act like everything was cool. And all these kids are out running around, playing games, eating cake and ice cream. And my little brother's opening presents and, having the time of his life. And here we are. Here he is sitting there thinking, how am I going to afford to take care of my family? And I kind of felt the same way a little bit, I was a little bit of shock and a little bit of fear, So I went home Friday and told my wife. The next day was Saturday, and of course everything's closed. You can't really file for unemployment on the weekend. I mean, you can, but nobody's going to hear it. Monday was Martin Luther King Day, so couldn't do anything. That was really frustrating. So I started applying for jobs. I went on every job hunt, Monster, Indeed, LinkedIn, all of that crap, and applied for every single job that was available. Literally every single thing that I could find in my town that was available. Met with people. I realized that I hadn't done a resume in 10 years. So I redid my resume. I sent a copy of my old resume to a friend of mine. He gave me some good criticism. Sent me a copy of a resume that he had that he was really impressed with, that he had recently hired a person for his work. And so I used that resume. I found a good couple of resumes online, or sample resumes, redid my whole thing, sent it back to him, and he was like, that's what I'm looking for. So I got some help there. I sent that new resume and a letter of recommendation from my boss to every single place I could think of. The following Friday, which was yesterday, today's the 21st. The following Friday, I had 3 interviews lined up. I have another one lined up Monday, and I have a potential interview lined up later on. And I'll probably have some more, hopefully, fingers crossed. I think I've worked harder in the last week than I have my whole life. You see, I've got a wife, 3 kids, and a mortgage. I'm more worried about their well-being than my own. I'm thankful that this happened to me now. Because if it had happened to me 10 or 15 years ago, it might have been the thing that broke me. I have 2 things to credit that. There's actually 3 things. There's a quote that Jocko uses all the time. And discipline equals freedom. And the first time I read that, I was like, that's crap. I mean, honestly, I just thought it was crap. I thought he's just some tough guy thinking you just have to work hard and you'll get what you want. That's not always the truth. But if you organize yourself and you do the things you're supposed to, you'll be free to do the things you want. Discipline does equal freedom. You have to be disciplined because there are so many things in life that come at you. Your car breaks down, you get in a fight with your spouse, your kid gets sick. If you're not disciplined, if you're not prepared, small problems are turned into mountains. If you don't follow Jocko, you don't know who that guy is, you should do yourself a favor and check him out. It just might be the thing you need in your life. The other thing is my own personal quote or mantra, life motto, whatever. And its attitude is everything. It was something I told myself a while back because I used to have a terrible attitude about stuff. Things get hard. I'd bitch and moan. I'd complain, kick the dirt, whatever you want to call it. And I realized at some point when I went into things with a bad attitude, it didn't make anything any easier. It just made things harder. And I don't know where this came from. It might have been something I read. It might have been something my parents taught me. I don't know for sure. But at some point I realized that if I went into things with a good attitude, that even the hard things got a little easier. I still complain, I still cry, I still kick the dirt, but if I look at things with a good attitude, it goes a little easier. And the third thing is, and this is probably the biggest one, is training martial arts. And I'd recommend martial arts, any martial arts, for everyone. I don't care what kind of martial arts you get into. If you're not training, find somewhere you're comfortable and start. Find somewhere where you can build a community and start, because it will change your life. Martial arts has become a religion for me. I wouldn't be talking to you. I wouldn't have recorded 35 episodes had I not had martial arts. I've always wanted to do something like this at various points in my life, but this has helped me deal with all the problems life has thrown my way. And there's been a lot, but it puts problems in perspective. It lets you look at difficult tasks and find a way. Without training multiple times a week, 2 to 3 times, sometimes 4 or 5 times a week, I would not have been able to handle losing my job as gracefully or as well, or prepared myself for the next thing nearly as well if I had not been training martial arts. And I don't care if it's boxing, Tai Chi, Kempo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, whatever. If it's in your town, you owe it to yourself to try it. It's okay to be scared. What isn't okay is not doing something about it. And as strange as this sounds, I'm not really upset about being laid off. I mean, I'm bummed, don't get me wrong. But it's just another challenge on the road of life. In martial arts, it's all challenges. You gain a little, you gain some experience, you gain a little knowledge, and then you come up on a major roadblock and you're just stuck, and you're stuck. And you have 2 choices. You can keep trying or you can quit. And I mean, that's life. Life gets hard and you can keep trying at life or you can quit. And I'm not disparaging anybody who's quit. I've quit numerous things. I've quit so many things I couldn't even begin to tell you. We don't have enough time in the day to talk about the things that I've quit. But martial arts teaches you to go a little bit more. Give it one more shot. Try again. And I don't know that if I hadn't been training as much as I have been, that I would have kept going. I don't know if I would have laid down and just died, but I don't know that I would have been able to handle it as gracefully or been willing to get to work as quickly. I think I would have had to take more time to recover. I literally, the next morning, was up at 4:30. I showered, I shaved, and I went to applying jobs. I went looking for jobs. I went at it, you know. Is the glass half full or half empty? It all depends on you. You'll see the glass that you want to see. It's funny. A good friend of mine, Joe, he was on the podcast a few episodes back, probably number 2 or number 3. We were talking about just life in general, and my predicament and everything. And he was giving me a kind of a pep talk, not really a pep talk, but words of encouragement. And he basically told me I spent a good 20 years of my life looking at the glass as half empty. And when you look at the glass as half full, you have a so much better life when you look at it as half full. And that's the truth. Everyone has issues. Everyone has problems. I'm healthy. I don't have any health issues. My children are healthy. My wife is healthy and beautiful. Life could be so much worse. This Def Reset this year versus last year. Last year I was gung-ho. I was on it every single day, working my butt off, trying to make it, trying to win. And I didn't win. But you know what? I made a whole bunch of friends. Mary, Grant, all the others, all you guys are awesome. I got healthy. I was feeling good about myself. And this year I was like, I'm going to win it. I'm going to win it. I had no clue what was in store for me. But that's okay. I'm still trying. I'm still putting in the effort. I don't feel about it as I did last year, but I'm not quitting. Quitting is not an option. Giving up is not an option. The point I'm trying to make, I guess, is, if you're prepared, if you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing, if you're eating right, you exercise, you drink water, you organize your life, you plan things out, problems that are unexpected aren't so dramatic. If I had been living my old life and this had happened, it might have been the thing that broke me. And I refuse to let this break me. I have too much to count on and too much counting on me to quit. And I bet if you looked at your own life and looked at your friends and loved ones, that you would see that you have a lot riding on you. And those people want to see you win and not lay down. Friends, every day is a blank page. What are you going to write on it? Anywho, if you like what you hear and you have questions, comments, concerns, want to throw a job offer my way, send us an email at theformlesspod@gmail.com. We are on Twitter at formless_the. We have an Instagram page called The Formless Podcast, and there's also a Facebook group called The Formless Podcast. If you want to be on our show, want us on your show, want to chat, meet up, reach out to us there. If you want to train with us, come down to Anderson, California, Blaine Courts Total Self-Defense. It's on McMurray Drive in Anderson. He's also on the web at Blaine Courts Total Self-Defense. If you want a web page made or SEO work done, contact the fine people at chromolypro.com. We have a sister school in Wisconsin, Herb Blues Total Self-Defense. Check them out. They're in Green Bay. They are wonderful people. I'm getting closer to the stickers and t-shirt thing. Working on some designs now, and I hope to have those, at least some stickers designed in the next couple of days or weeks. Check the Instagram page for that. Friends, have a wonderful day. Enjoy it. Work hard. And find some martial arts to train. And let us know how it goes.